Every family has a choice, follow the herd or carve their own path. This is the Lone Wolf Podcast. Are you ready to stray from the pack?
Welcome to the Lone Wolf Podcast. Hello!
Well, welcome back to the Lone Wolf Podcast. This is part two. I repeat, part two. So if you haven't listened to part one, I recommend you hit pause, take it back, watch part one, and then circle back and catch us here at part two.
Part two in a 3-part series.
I was going to say, and then there will also be a part three.
Right.
I feel like most people at this point are becoming familiar with big pharma, big food, big tech, big ag, right?
Yes.
But have you ever thought about big fertility?
We know firsthand about big fertility.
We do. Do you think that we knew as much when we first decided to go to IVF as we do like now?
No.
Do you think your decision would have been different?
No. Knowing that we got a beautiful baby out of it, who I couldn't imagine not having.
Yeah.
No, I would have done everything. I guess I couldn't say I would have done everything the exact same, but if knowing the result that we got, I would have done the exact same thing. If that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. And what's funny is I feel like my answer to that same question, like knowing what we know now, would I have done anything different? I feel like my answer is the same as you. Like, no, I don't think I necessarily would have done anything different. But my reasoning is slightly different.
Yeah.
Not because I disagree in any way that, we created the most perfect baby. I literally could not imagine if she was not in our life. Like, she was made for our family.
Yeah, she's just
perfect.
The best.
Perfection.
She's funny. She's silly. She's smart. She's just
the best.
The best.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I feel like my reasoning that comes to like the forefront of my brain first is not that. It's that we were like 4 months in when we were kind of like, something's not right on our fertility journey. And then obviously you hit around year 1, which technically by definition infertility is like 1 year of trying to conceive without success. Then you're like classified by definition infertile.
You can actually go and see a physician.
Yes.
As an infertility doctor.
Yeah, you could go to a fertility clinic.
Okay.
Like if you were trying for 5 months and went to an IVF clinic, they would be like,
right,
probably a little too soon.
Right.
That definition though is like 6 months to 1 year, because there are like factors where 6 months, like if you're 40,
right,
and you're trying to, conceive and it's not happening, 6 months would be considered.
Time is of the essence.
Yeah. And I have thoughts on that whole concept in itself that I imagine I'll probably circle back to here in our like kind of ending notes. But my point is, once we hit that like 1 year mark, we were feeling pretty certain like, okay, we're now infertile. We're part of the infertility club.
We still had hope, but we were definitely losing hope.
Yeah. My point being in all of this is I put so much intention and effort and thought and inspection on especially that second year of our fertility journey, trying to almost like outsmart our infertility, because the resources are so minimal. Like I strongly believe IVF is not your only option,
right,
to have a baby if you're on the infertility road.
Yeah.
But IVF is the most almost like straightforward, even accessible option.
Right.
When
you bypass a lot of things that would potentially be causing you to be infertile in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like jumping, instead of being like, all right, I'm going to, skip from rock to rock across the pond or across the river. I'm going to just take a leap over the river.
Yeah.
And end up on the other side, knowing that whether it's something with me or with you,
Right.
we are bypassing that.
See, and I know that about IVF, and I think that's where I felt so much resistance to, I don't know, kind of subscribing to it, because I disagreed with it. Like everything in me felt that, well, I believe that our fertility is this kind of reflection of our overall health,
Mm-hmm.
that if we can get pregnant, that means we're not healthy. And I
Right.
care about being healthy. It's
Right.
always really mattered to me. And I
Yeah.
want to create a healthy baby.
Right.
So it's just like jumping to IVF, like you said, it's
Mhm.
going to bypass all these things. And yeah, maybe we'll get a baby, but is it like the right option?
It's not solving the problem.
No, I mean, it truly was such a hard, I share this just to shed the light on kind of the insides of what it was like for you and I going through infertility, and then ultimately making the decision to go to IVF, is that it was not a simple choice.
No.
But I honestly got to the point, and I know we said this in the last episode, but like we got to the point where I was so broken down. I was so exhausted because I was trying everything I could possibly do to figure out why we weren't getting pregnant, and then also how to solve it. And that is such a huge, and that's alongside like 5 other providers. And we still weren't getting answers, and we still weren't getting pregnant.
Yeah.
And you get to the point where like, it's like insanity. Like I couldn't keep living in that freaking silo of,
No, it's a mind fuck, and you're drained by the end of it.
Yeah.
And every day, like the end of the day, it's like it's the only thing on your mind. And it literally starts
consumes
to
you.
It consumes you, and it starts to control your life and your thought process, and it makes you depressed.
Which isn't fair either, because like we have a daughter.
Yeah,
we have another
do.
kid. We have a family here. Like I need to show up for my daughter and like not be this freaking mindless zombie for 2 years.
Right.
Like in the pursuit of trying to grow our family.
For sure.
So I mean, there are layers to all of this, and we see you in that. Like in no way is this, we're going to get into it here. It's going to get a little juicy, but in no way are we coming to say that we're like, I don't know, elitist, or we've got it all figured out, or
that what you're doing is worse than what we're doing, or what we did was better than what you're doing.
Yep.
We did IVF. We went that route.
Yep.
And we're going to talk shit about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though we already did it.
We're going to question it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to
exactly.
question it.
We're going to question it, and we're going to throw some new ideas that we came across recently.
Yeah.
That we think going around the next time, because we want to have more children. We'll probably go about it a different route.
Yeah.
If we have to do IVF, though, I mean, at the end of the day, like,
yeah, I mean,
it is what it is.
We have
right,
it.
Right.
I've always considered it to be almost like fertility insurance, because like we've talked about previously, infertility rates are astronomical. I mean, everybody knows somebody who has experienced it or is going through it right now.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get any smaller. And there's some element of security knowing that like, okay, we can do all these things to try to conceive our next baby. And if things don't work, we know we have some embryos left in storage and we can go that route. And obviously we know that we had success. And while it wasn't a perfect storyline, details to come on that, like we did get a baby and she is perfect. So there is definitely some security in that as well.
Yeah, it gives you, it almost takes a little bit of the stress knowing that we can conceive that way.
Yeah.
Like there is an option.
Yeah, that we're not like,
but it's not the
doomed.
way we want to do it.
Because I'll tell you what, I'm not done having babies.
No.
Not
done.
We're
not. We need at least one more.
We need more families like us too, like having babies. You know what I mean? We're part of a revolution here.
We need more free thinkers.
That's right.
We need more free thinkers, less sheep.
Yep.
And people that are going to shape the future.
Yeah, desperately we need it.
Yeah.
For more reasons than I think we could ever cover on this podcast.
Yes.
Well, so then let's go into Big Fertility.
Okay.
I have a handful of things that I think kind of shape what Big Fertility is.
Okay.
I think you have some things too.
Yeah.
Let's start with the money. I think that's always a good one. Like if you follow where the money goes.
You can understand why they're jumping over rivers.
Yep, you can, exactly.
Yeah. Because we funded our IVF 99% of it was out of pocket.
Yeah. I mean, like a little less. Our insurance did cover like most of my like blood work and my ultrasounds and all of that
some
stuff.
labs and ultrasounds.
Yeah, I mean, a
But
couple. It probably would have been around.
But the meat and potatoes of it we covered.
Yeah,
like that was not cheap. The ranges for IVF typically range somewhere between 15 to upwards of $70,000, depending on how many transfers you have to do, how many egg retrievals you have to do.
Yep.
Not everybody gets a good egg retrieval right off the bat. Not everybody gets a transfer right off the bat, or even 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that can go into it. And man, is it like, that's a scary, scary thing when you're really putting yourself out there on a limb to get pregnant and you're going upside down financially.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Dude, and IVF is kind of like hope on a payment plan.
100%.
Like
It's
they're taking families that are...
Talk about faith, right? Like you got to be like, your doctor, you got to look at him and be like, I trust you.
I don't even know if it's a trust or a faith thing though. It's hope. You're coming in at your most like vulnerable, desperate place of like,
it's basically gambling.
Well, I have a comment on that later
you're
too.
You're throwing down, like you're at the blackjack table and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
What are my odds again?
Okay, should I
flip the cards?
Because you said that, I'm going to jump ahead slightly because I just read something that I was like, "Oh my gosh," and I had to like write it down, and it's exactly on the note of gambling. It said that there are reports, like many couples report that they feel psychologically addicted to IVF cycles similar to a gambling behavior.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird.
It struck a chord with me because it's different for you and I. You know what I mean? Like my desperation may have come from different places and, been maybe bigger than yours when it came to this. When I was going through everything with IVF, it literally felt like our first transfer failed. And instead of being like I was not okay. I was so sad. I was so depressed.
Oh, I know.
I couldn't stop crying. Like I was a disaster. And instead of being like, I need to take some time and like grieve this and like prepare my body and give it a break, they give you the option too. Like you don't have to go straight into another transfer.
No, I remember you were like, let's go now.
Yeah, but I was like, no, we need to go
tomorrow?
Now. Yep, because
how much time do I need in between?
Because it's this idea of like, well, maybe this next one will get it. It's the same.
That's weird when you put it that way, but it's the same mentality.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a trip, actually.
It was such a trip because I was like, oh my gosh, I never would have like labeled it that way, but that's totally how I felt. That's gotta
hit the same receptors in your brain,
right?
As like laying down a big bet gambling.
100%.
It's got to be somewhere in the same field
because it's something that you want really, really bad, and it's got the end prize has this really big value,
and money's riding on it.
But your odds are kind of iffy, and you're hoping, right?
Yeah, it's creepy. I don't like it.
It feels kind of gross.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Gross.
Yeah. But I'll jump back up here. So money. Okay. Currently, IVF this was a 2024 report. IVF is currently sitting at a $28 billion industry.
So there's some money in that.
It's predicted, because it continues to like skyrocket. It's predicted that it'll hit 45 billion by 2032.
And that's just another statistic that shows you that more people than ever now are needing it or using it.
Yeah. I would say using it.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think it's because of increasing infertility rates? You think it's people that are potentially trying to no outcomes prior to conceiving?
I think there's a lot of things. You have to think that it's not just people who have gone a year of trying and can't conceive who are going to IVF. It's people who are hoping that maybe there's a solution to navigating like genetic things. Like if you know that you and your partner are carriers for some genetic disease and it's 50-50 shot, like you can go in and instead of playing the gamble, you can go and you can test your embryos and you can only transfer the ones that would be healthy and not have whatever genetic disorder it is, right? Yeah. if it's an age thing, you can go and test your embryos and only transfer the ones that are of higher quality, right? What else? You have people who
picking it's a boy or a girl.
Exactly. I mean, I was in all these, IVF Facebook groups, and I would see the question pop up at least 2 or 3 times. I saw somebody pop in and be like, hey, like, I'm wanting some random information on IVF. Just a backstory, I have 3 kids. I conceived naturally. Everything was great and wonderful, but we want to have only one more. My husband only wants a boy. Something like that.
Does it feel like you're going a little too far? Personally, for me, it does.
Yeah.
I feel like you're playing God a little bit there.
I know.
Because maybe your family dynamic wasn't meant to have
exactly
that additional boy or girl or whatever it is you're looking for.
And even then, and we'll get to this later, these things are never a guarantee. I think
No.
there's this idea that because it's such a big, expensive industry, that like, okay, well, if I pay big top dollar, then I'm going to get what I want out of it.
But now, wait a minute now. That is an option now.
What?
You can pay now for them to specifically extract male or female sperm to transfer to the egg.
Ew.
You have to pay extra.
Yeah.
So
little
if Johnny Big Dick wants a little boy
Johnny Big Dick,
and he's got the cheddar for it, he goes to Doc and he says, you know what, Doc? I need an heir to the throne.
Yeah.
And how much is it going to cost me? And the doctor says, well, you know what, Johnny? It's going to be an extra 45 grand. Are you willing to muster that up?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, well, absolutely, Doc. No problem for me.
And that's how Big Fertility goes from 28 billion to 45 billion in less than 10 years.
Johnny Big Dick gets his son, who ends up being a demon child.
Perfect.
Anyways. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really insane.
Yeah. Anyways, Johnny Big Dick, if you're listening, I'm sorry about you. I wasn't talking shit.
Oh boy. Okay. Anything else you want to speak on money? Johnny?
No, I think that's it. No, I do actually. I think that anytime you're dealing with large amounts of money like that in an industry that's growing and it's feeding the people that are fueling it, you're going to have corruption. You're going to have the greed is going to win over what's best for the consumer.
Yep.
And I think that's where the lines start to get blurry, when the system that we're working with is kind of there for the people that can afford it, and the ones that can't afford it, it's kind of like you're shit out of luck.
Well, this brings up a really like kind of wild concept that we were talking about earlier, is there's these kind of weird layers in this kind of reproductive medicine world of like, where do we draw the line? Because we literally are, at first it's like, okay, there's people who can't get pregnant and we can like help, this couple make a baby. Okay. Well, then it just continues to like grow and grow and grow, and how, and how that science works, that now we can almost like create a new class of human almost, right? Where like only the people that have 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 plus $1,000 to spend can then go and not just make a baby if they're infertile, but make a baby that's genetically perfect,
genetically sound, has the
whatever gender you prefer,
has the qualities that you want. It's tall, it's going to have, a slim build, it's going to have the eye color that you want,
and those
dark
are
hair. You can essentially modify all of those genetics.
And our clinic doesn't have that option. Have you looked into this at all? Like, are they like specific clinics that do the...
It's a fringe thing right now, and it's small, but it is growing.
Yeah.
And over the next 5 to 10 years, we are going to see a huge shift based off of what I've been reading and looking into for future science. There's going to be a huge shift in the way that they go about marketing new forms of IVF or IVG. There's a new one, IVG. What is the G? Do you remember what the G stands for?
Something about gametes. I don't remember the exact word, but it's something about gametes. So essentially, instead of taking like the cells, like a sperm cell or an egg cell, you can take a skin cell and then bioengineer it essentially in the lab to create a sperm cell or an egg cell out of it.
Which, way out of my pay grade to figure out how the fuck they do that.
Yeah.
But
basically what they could do is me and my wife could both take our skin cells, put them in the lab, and they can make a sperm out of my wife and an egg from me, and then make us a biological child.
And now
they can even take it from 4 people. You could take an orgy of people and decide that those 4 people want to make a biological child of them. And then you do this weird stuff with their skin cells.
You make an embryo from 2 and an embryo from 2, and then you take the DNA out of both of those embryos
and then make another
and you
embryo.
Replicate, or you take cells out of those and you replicate and start all over. So essentially what you're doing is you're creating a lineage of people that actually never got to live. So you're taking the DNA from, essentially what you're doing is you're taking the children and you're birthing new cells. So that would be technically the grandchildren of the people that initially gave their DNA.
But then you're eliminating somebody in this as well. Like you're taking these 2 embryo life forms.
And mom and dad never got to have a life. So then you have a whole new generation of humans that now do not have a biological father or mother that ever existed.
They don't have a mom or dad. And that's literally creating a whole new type of human. Because every single other human prior to IVG has a biological mother and father.
Exactly. And
I'm pretty sure this doctor that we were listening to, right? Wasn't he saying that it's pretty likely that this IVG could be rolling out in the next 10 years? 10 years.
I think he said within the next 10 years. So like somewhere in there. And, we're seeing more advances technologically. AI is going to do revolutionary things for good and for bad.
I don't know if I even want to touch on AI.
Hopefully more good than bad. Fingers are crossed there. But then you have CRISPR, you have DNA sequencing and DNA modification, which is going to essentially revolutionize the way that we can modify our own cells and bodies. And anyways, we can get way into the weeds on that. But
the point really is that like
this is the tip of the iceberg.
Well, and IVF has become so normalized, but if you really take a step back and look at it, we're kind of on a slippery slope here to I don't know, kind of blurring the lines between what's acceptable and what really shouldn't be.
And there is already a moral dilemma when it comes to the IVF world, and
I agree.
And taking that route, embryo storage, and
there's an estimated
when does life start, all of that.
There's an estimated 1 million embryos in cryo storage in the United States today.
Right. Well, the real dilemma is, people think, you're just discarding the ones that are genetically deficient or whatever, but majority of the embryos that are being discarded are not genetically deficient. They're just ones that never got used that were viable.
And I mean, let's be raw here and share, I'm jumping into our timeline a little bit, and we will circle back to I have more thoughts on Big Fertility, but I feel like this is good leeway into, this is something that nobody realizes are conversations that you have to have when you go through IVF, that you and I have already had to do all this.
They were weird and awkward, and we both felt gross doing it.
We had to sign documentation to decide we're going to create embryos together, and the embryos are considered personal property. So if you were to get if you and I were to get divorced, we would have to figure out, what do we do with the cars and the house and the kids and the whatever. Embryo is now added to our list.
Or if I were to die, what do you get to do with the embryos? If you were to die, what do I
get to do with the embryos?
Let's say you died. I got remarried to a woman who couldn't have children.
Yep.
I have control over those embryos, she could essentially give birth to yours and my children.
If I agreed to it. But
Right.
yes, I mean,
But
that's
that's
crazy.
weird.
It's so wild.
That's trippy.
I know. It's so wild.
Like there's just so many things that you don't think about going into it. You just think you're going there to make a baby.
Yeah.
And then you get into it and you get into the weeds of it, and there's so many other things that you're like, dude, I never thought this was even something I had to consider.
I know.
I just thought that they were going to implant, you know, an embryo in you, and it was going to be, all right, cool, we got a baby now.
Yeah.
Let's go, move on.
Right?
Not it at all.
Yeah. That all you were going to do is just bypass it all. You're going to take one sperm, one egg, put them together, and then just put that right into my womb, and that's it.
We're making monthly payments on Zeppelin's twins.
Yeah, I know. $60
to
a month.
potentially bring them into the world as the next child.
Yeah, at a later time, like
Yeah.
with the eggs and sperm that we created
And I'm not trying
3
to
years
freak
ago.
anybody out because this shit's weird.
Yeah.
But if they are her twin, I'm okay with it. She's fucking cool.
Because she's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's wild is we have embryos in storage,
Mhm.
and there's a chance that we won't use all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a really, and it's something that you and I have to sit with, and I mean, we're gonna keep paying on them until we have the decision made. But like, that's a really weird thing to carry.
Well, and it also feels weird to, if we don't use them, discard them. It's like, that feels weird too. That feels
I
kind of
know.
gross.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
donate them to science.
No thanks. Yeah.
Over my dead body.
That was part of the disclaimer too,
Yep.
or the paperwork.
Yep.
And we said, absolutely not.
Or you can donate them to other infertile couples so somebody else could like get
Absolutely
pregnant with
not.
our child and raise it.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
that's just not an option either.
No.
So, but
Never an option for
my
me.
point is just that there is a moral component, like this moral dilemma component to it. Like, regardless of whatever you believe, it's something it's hard to sit here and look at this baby that we made and know that there's potentially other ones that could make it, you know, just like she could, and to think that we could not use them someday it's really weird. It's a hard thing to.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around it.
Yeah, and you still want to, like, I mean, neither one of us were diagnosed with a specific reason as to why we couldn't conceive together. So we still have hope.
Yeah.
That we can conceive naturally.
And that's episode 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but, you know, again, it's one of those things where it's like, that's our first priority. But then to have to go back to that and kind of get wrapped up in that again, it's
daunting.
It's daunting. It doesn't feel good.
No.
But it does kind of feel nice to know that we do have an option.
Yeah.
It's selfish.
Yeah.
It's a selfish thing.
Yeah.
Essentially.
In a way, yeah.
It is, because we want, I know, selfishly,
yeah,
we want it. We want more children.
Yeah. And we could, you know, of course there's always that argument of like, well, you have 2 perfect children, why do you want more? You know.
Yeah.
And I get that,
because I want 3 perfect children.
Yeah. Or more. Like, yeah. Sue me for wanting to have more babies, and
we want to bring in well-rounded, decent people.
Yeah.
Because we need more of them.
And being their parents is the greatest thing that we've ever done, and I want more of it.
Me too.
Like,
so in a way, like I said, it is selfish.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
And we're just being real here. Like, we're just sharing the real raw, I don't know, things that you carry and
you're gonna get us flip-flopping on this a lot in this because we had to fucking use it.
I know.
And again, like I said, we got a great result.
I know.
And it's hard to look at that and go, damn, that's wrong.
I know.
But also there is a part of you that goes back and forth because you do feel for the people that are struggling and the people that maybe can't afford to do it.
Yeah.
And then you also feel for the circumstances that were kind of byproducts of what we had to go through.
And you also can't help but like quiver a little bit looking when you dig into like exactly who Big Infertility is. You know,
and then there's that angle of it, and that's freaky too. It's like, who, what beast are we feeding?
Right. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's slightly terrifying. Let's bring it back to Big Fertility. I feel like we just went down a lot of like the emotional components of it, right?
Mm.
And I think what's scary is Big Fertility is so well designed to capitalize on the emotional,
Yeah.
psychological part of it,
100%.
and that they can like, I don't know, kind of use this like emotional storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
right? To kind of like bypass critical thought,
Yeah.
right? Like they can tell you like, well, you're going to have a baby in your arms, or this is the rainbow after the storm, or whatever, and it
Mhm.
gets you feeling like, oh, okay, finally, like this is my saving grace, like
Mhm.
here's the answer.
An end to my frustrations
Yep.
and my sadness.
Yep. So I will do anything, like, and it almost makes you turn off that critical thought brain, because you're not going to question anything, you're not going to whatever, because it's this weird authoritarian like it's like the white coat syndrome,
Mhm.
right? Where like when a person walks into the room wearing a white coat, you immediately are like, I know nothing about my health and I only trust whatever you say.
Mhm.
Like it's this weird hierarchy, of they know and you don't.
Mhm. And this is my option, and there's no other options.
And they're telling me that like I'm gonna get what I want at the end of this. Like
Yeah.
there's a baby at the end.
Right.
And we're so blinded by, our
Mm-hmm. And even though I know what they're telling me right now is kind of not what I believe or what I want, I'm going to do it because they're getting me a baby at the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Because you're desperate.
Yeah.
You are, like, you're so desperate for that baby.
For sure.
Then there's the data component,
Mm-hmm.
which I recently learned that IVF clinics in the United States are not, they're not regulated by like a specific like federal body.
Mm-hmm.
So they give reports to the CDC and something called the START, the Society for Assisted Reproductive Technology.
Okay.
Okay. But nobody like fact checks them. It's kind of like their reports are all like trust based. Like
Sounds like a familiar situation. Pharmaceutical industry,
right?
And studies on drugs.
Well, it's what's scary is when these like industries start making a lot of money, they now have a lot of money that they can play at the table, and
clinical trials turn into in-house things and not third party.
Right. And it gets a little suspicious.
Yes.
But they can go and kind of massage the data and report kind of what they want. Okay. So like IVF clinics can manipulate some data. And it makes sense because thinking back to when we decided to go to the IVF clinic, I'm like every single paper that comes through my email, I am reading every single I didn't fully trust it all,
Yeah.
I was very like on high alert.
Yeah.
I'm reading everything, and they sent me, I remember this, like looking, like just thinking back in my memory, there was this website where you could go and look at like the statistics of your clinic, and all these clinics were listed off in this like
a database.
Yeah. And you could like look at the clinics and then go and look at their success rates and kind of compare clinics and whatever. And ours like had pretty solid like success rates.
I remember you showing that to me.
Yeah, and it feels kind of reassuring. And then ironically, while I'm like kind of prepping everything for this episode, I go through our fertility clinic and I find the website again. And guess what the website is? The START, the Society for Assisted Reproductive Technology, where now I know they actually are monitored at all and they can inflate and manipulate their data and then report it to START. So then now I'm kind of like, well, shit. I don't think that those percentages are entirely accurate.
I guarantee they're not accurate. And like we were talking about this earlier, but like, how do you gauge a successful IVF treatment? Is it based off of a positive pregnancy test? Because in my eyes, a successful IVF treatment would be the end result,
a live birth.
With a live birth with a healthy baby.
Yeah, but it should be a live birth. And from my research, like digging that I did, most of these statistics, they're only counting a positive pregnancy test. And that's it. Which is not the same as a live birth.
No.
Yep. And it's how you can kind of inflate,
Yes, that's trippy that they can use that. information to sell people on essentially their product.
Yep. I think that what's scary about it is I think if there was honesty and reporting, you would see that like most fertility clinics are going to sell you on this idea that you have a 50 to 70% success rate. They're going to sell you that idea. But the truth is, and I had to kind of comb through this to find it. And I guess there was a study done fairly recently, like 2022, that's saying that it's probably a little more realistic that your chances of success are 30 to 35% in a first cycle, that's probably a more realistic age, right? But these fertility clinics can inflate this success rate in a way of kind of like, if the less people know,
it's deceptive.
Yeah, that this deception, but this idea that like if people knew that the rate was that low, they would be less likely to go to IVF right away. They would be more likely to explore other avenues of improving their health and fertility, right? It's just a way to funnel more people into big fertility.
Because it feels like a sure thing. You wouldn't invest all your money if it didn't feel like it was a sure thing.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but if IVF was like, oh yeah, you'd have like a 30% chance of getting pregnant.
Like what?
I don't know if I would have been like, yeah, let's go put, $30,000 into it and pump my body full of hormones. And
they're also going based off of a general outcome of we don't know how many transfers that is. We don't know how many egg retrievals that is.
Right. And that was this 2022, this data is trying to comb through all of those like confounding factors and say on a first embryo transfer, it's more likely that you would have about a 30% success rate.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of this like data laundering. It's a little fishy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel totally great.
No.
It loses some credibility.
For sure. That's not it.
Okay, so then ethics, I feel like we already kind of went into. Okay, I have just two random, like we could go down a little conspiracy rabbit hole on big fertility, unless you have anything else that you can think of that we didn't cover on like what kind of shapes big fertility.
No.
Okay. Conspiracy, ready? I have two for you. Okay. One, the same pharmaceutical companies that are behind IVF drugs also fund contraception, hormone therapy, and menopause management.
See?
Did I just ruin it for you?
That's where it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know. Here's the issue.
Where did you find that?
Where did I find it?
Yeah.
I have sources.
See, that just pops the balloon.
Yeah.
That deflates the whole thing.
Okay, ready for the next one? It could be worse.
Go on.
Are you sure you're ready?
Yeah.
The same big ag companies.
I'm not surprised. Go on, sorry. I'm not surprised.
The same big ag companies that harm fertility with endocrine disruptors are now funding fertility preservation research.
So carcinogenic agricultural companies that are putting out hormone disruptors into the food and
chemicals that are
crops
wrecking our fertility.
They are now funding the fertility research.
Fertility preservation research.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about last episode.
Here's the thing though. I need you to really think about this term. Fertility preservation. To me, the first thing that comes to mind is like going and like freezing eggs, like trying to preserve your fertility the way that it is right now today. Basically, it's them being like, we know for fact that we are poisoning you and making you infertile, but guess what? We're the hero because we're going to make sure that we're putting dollars in to make sure that you can preserve your fertility right now because we know that it's not guaranteed you're going to have it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So it's the same. They've been playing this game forever. It's Monsanto.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's Monsanto buying Bayer aspirin or Bayer, the pharmaceutical company. Yeah. Bayer is the largest producer of cancer treatment drugs.
Yep.
And Monsanto is the largest carcinogenic producing food crop spray,
Yeah.
or pesticide of any company on the entire globe.
Yeah.
So we're giving you cancer and we're treating it same. It's the same game.
Yeah.
And it's fucking crazy.
Here's the problem. They're all in bed together.
Of course.
They're all in bed together.
Yeah.
Like all the bigs that I said at the beginning, they're all sleeping in the same fucking bed.
And
I have a funny feeling they don't sleep in organic cotton sheets.
They probably do.
That's true. That's true.
Because they can afford it.
Yeah. They don't give a shit about the rest of us.
No.
Yep. Well, do you need like a minute with that one?
I'm not even surprised.
I know.
I'm not even shook. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, another one.
I know.
Another arena.
I know.
Where, they're just fucking everybody.
Yep.
For $1.
Yep.
It's like it's like we're living in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. It is.
It's so crazy to me. And it's crazy that the powers that be allow it.
But I think one of the most important things you can do, and if you haven't heard it on our other episodes, I'm going to hit you with it again right now, is to wake the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care if you align with every single thing that we say or, if whatever, but it's time. Like, it is so time to wake up and stop subscribing to all of these things and take some control back into your own hands and just like think a little more critically, think a little more free, ask more questions.
100%.
And it's okay, land on whatever answer you choose, but stop doing things blindly. Stop being a sheep. Like, stop having this herd mentality, because that's how they want it. And that's how all these bigs are surviving and thriving and becoming billion-dollar industries.
Yeah. And
they're profiting off of us.
Don't do what's easy.
No.
Because majority of the time they're selling you on convenience, they're selling you on ease of access, they're selling you on comfort, and they're trying to get you to buy into something that if you did it yourself and looked into it yourself and did it the hard way and went around it, you're probably going to dodge a lot of bullets along the way, and your life will end up being better for the struggle that you had to go through to get the truth.
Babe, I literally, if it wouldn't be annoying on this microphone, I want to be like clapping my hands right now, because the word convenience has been on my mind so much lately. And I've posted this on like my personal social pages a bit, but like I truly believe that like convenience is robbing us of so much. Like,
yeah.
I think convenience is such a slippery slope and a dangerous beast, and we really need to start rethinking it. I think that's a fantastic place to start.
Yeah, comfort.
Yep.
Comfort, convenience.
Yep.
Is the thief of prosperity.
100%.
Because we've gotten so soft. And think about every commercial you see, every ad that you see for pharmaceuticals, for food, for fast food, for whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
It's always making your life easier, or taking out some sort of additional chore, or making you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're so addicted to this convenience and feel good and make my life easier, because there's so many things that I'm already dealing with that are hard.
Yeah.
But if we just said, you know what? That sounds like it's too easy. Why is it so easy?
Right.
And started applying maybe a little bit of discipline and a little bit of hard work, and going, you know what? Shortcuts don't always get you there quicker.
No.
We might have better outcomes, and we might have people that actually start to go, you know what? Putting in the work for that actually makes me feel better than if I had gone around and just taken the pill to get rid of my depression.
And is it wild to say that you actually might be enjoying your life a lot more too?
100%.
Kind of crazy. I know we sound so radical right now, but
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're all guilty of it. I'm not,
Of course.
I'm not sitting on a throne saying like I'm the guy who takes the fucking hard route,
Yeah.
because I'm not. I've taken the easy route so many times.
Yeah. Yep.
But they're selling us on it and they're pushing it,
Yep.
and it's easy to fall into. And if you don't actively look into your brain and go, you know what the fuck is, what's the point?
Yep.
What are they trying to do?
Yep.
And go, how can I be different?
Mm-hmm.
And how can I figure this out for myself? Because I know that this doesn't feel right.
Yep. Dude, go off, honey.
Anyways,
go off.
What were we talking about?
Do you feel better?
No, I don't. I still have to force myself to get up and work out in the mornings. I still have to force myself to do the hard things. It's, it's easy to talk shit into a microphone, but at the end of the day, man, it really fires you up to go, you know what? I'm not doing it anymore.
No.
I'm not.
Yep. And that's the thing is there's no like, you don't wake up one day and be like, I'm awake. I'm a wolf now. No herd mentality. I'm here.
Right.
It's an active decision that you have to make every single day.
For sure.
When you have that big of forces
right.
that have just bled into every single aspect and corner of our existence, it takes an active decision every single day.
For sure.
But guess what? Lone Wolf podcast comes out weekly, guys. Just tune in every Thursday.
Tune in. We'll pump you up, or we'll literally make you so depressed that you want to,
never listen again.
Never listen again. But yeah.
Okay, well let's bring it in for let's go through like our own IVF timeline.
Okay.
We'll humble ourselves here. So back in 2023, we ultimately decided that we're going to go to the IVF clinic.
Mm-hmm.
I want to preface this with something that I think is really important. After 2 years of infertility and going through IVF, Jordan and I wanted to get a real look at what was going on in our bodies before trying to get pregnant again.
Yeah, because hearing your labs look normal doesn't mean much, when normal basically means half the country's tired and inflamed.
And trying to get full lab work through traditional doctors can take months or even years and cost you thousands of dollars. Function Health makes it easy. No chasing referrals or waiting for permission to understand your own body.
With Function, you get over 100 lab markers all at once, and they don't just give you numbers, they tell you what each result means, why it matters, and show you the difference between normal and optimal.
A clinician actually reviews all your labs and gives you a detailed, personalized report on what to adjust in your diet, lifestyle, and supplements. It's like finally getting a translation for what your body's been trying to tell you.
And the coolest part, you get a second blood draw included in your one-time fee to track your progress, because apparently healing doesn't happen in one appointment.
If you've ever felt dismissed or brushed off, or you just want to take control of your health before pregnancy, or ever, we can't recommend Function Health enough.
You can use the link in our show notes to sign up, and when you do, you're helping support our podcast and the mission behind it, empowering families to think critically, live intentionally, and refuse the normal.
Our decision, and I'm not going to say this like I'm giving advice to everybody, because I know that there are layers to everything, but you take what you want from this. Us deciding to go to IVF, I went in knowing exactly what IVF is.
Mm-hmm.
IVF is a business of in vitro fertilization.
Mm-hmm.
It is using technology and medical advancements to get people pregnant.
Right.
I was not expecting to go to IVF and get some answer to why we are infertile.
Or a holistic remedy.
Mm-hmm. Like, I was not going into IVF thinking that I was going to get any of those things out of it. And I share that just to say that IVF is going to be so, if you right now are on your own infertility journey right now, somebody listening, IVF is going to be sold to you from every which way.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to be tried, like everybody's going to be trying to funnel you into this big industry, because they got bottom lines to meet here.
Mm-hmm.
It is not your time if you have not explored these other things yet, because IVF is not going to give you that.
No,
okay?
you're not going to show up to the clinic and they're going to sit you down and go, okay, well, let's talk about what you've been eating.
Yeah.
And are you exercising? Looks like you're about 70 pounds overweight. Have you tried nutrition? Have you tried vitamins? Have you tried exercise? Have you tried not shoving that fucking donut down your throat? They're not going to do that.
A little
Sorry.
aggressive,
I'm
honey.
coming off, I'm heated.
He's feeling a little heated.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, the point is you could have underlying things that are causing this. We're taking it right back to convenience. Like this is okay, here we are. I said I was going to circle back. I'm going to circle back.
Okay.
This
Respect.
idea, respect. This idea that we can say try for 6 to 12 months to get pregnant, and then if it doesn't work, you are now infertile. And if you're infertile, you need to come to this infertile clinic and we'll fix your infertileness.
Scientifically.
Right? Like
Right.
that's the timeline. If you go to Google, that's everything that you're going to find.
Right.
The problem that I have with that is if you're a few months in and you're not getting pregnant, it's time to change something in your lifestyle. It is not
100%.
easy. It doesn't always feel good. It's not always simple, but you got to start changing things.
Mhm.
I hate this idea that like, well, you just try for a year. That's the most fucking stupid advice I've ever heard. Okay, it makes me so mad.
Yeah.
It's just so misleading.
Yeah.
Like, it's so misleading.
Yeah.
Because it takes time for your lifestyle to actually impact your eggs and your sperm and for those things to then improve.
Mhm.
Though everything in the fertility world, and for anybody who doesn't know, takes fucking time.
Yeah.
It's miserable because you want a baby yesterday.
Right.
But like everything takes time. So don't sit around for a year
Right.
having sex every month and then being like, well, I guess
Yeah.
it didn't work again.
It's the old saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yeah, like if you already know that things aren't working,
Mhm.
it's time to change them.
Right.
Okay, there, I brought it back.
She said it.
And this is not me attacking anybody who's like, I am upset because that is the, bullshit that we are fed by Big Fertility, right? To make you think that like suddenly you're just going to get pregnant if you try for a year. And if you don't, then you just go to IVF.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, I went to IVF knowing what IVF is.
Mhm.
Okay. So I had, we had a Zoom meeting. I think it's required like for all patients. We met with the doctor.
Mhm.
We were both at work. So we like popped on a Zoom with the doctor.
Yep.
And I basically just told him, I was like, I'm not interested in any of the fluff that you're going to tell me. My husband and I have already done all the things. I've already worked with multiple providers. I've gone the, restorative reproductive medicine route. I've gone the NAPRO route, done the acupuncture and the woo-woo and the herbs and the blah, 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 blah. I've already done everything.
Mhm.
We are ready for IVF. That's it. End of discussion.
Mhm.
And he's like, okay, cool. Let's move forward.
Mhm.
And I think that probably saved us 3 months of like extra spending and diagnosing bullshit to
Mhm.
like them to just go, yep, IVF is
Yeah.
your only option, is
Right.
what they would have told us at the end anyway.
Yeah, you're not responding to any of the things that we've recommended.
No,
or
they
you've
would
spent
no,
money
they
on.
wouldn't even recommend things. It would be 2 months of diagnostic testing to then go, well, I think IVF is probably going to be your best bet.
But wait, don't they typically try to introduce you with IUI and other
Yeah.
entry level stuff?
Yes.
Because we had already tried that.
Depending on your diagnosis and your history and whatever.
Right.
Yes, there would
We
be those
bypassed
things.
that because we were like, we've
already done
it.
those things.
We're good.
Yeah, no thank
Right.
you. Not for us.
Yeah.
Like we're here because we know IVF is now like seemingly kind of our only option,
Mhm.
right?
So walk us through our timeline.
Okay, I'm gonna move kind of quickly here.
Yeah, just so people kind of know what we did, what we went through.
Yeah, like what it all entails, because I think that it is really sad to me to see IVF kind of like sold to people as your only option, and then they dress it to be so fancy and you're going to get a baby and it's going to be great and wonderful, but IVF it's pretty brutal. It's not necessarily for the faint of heart.
And listen, it's easy for the man. So if you're a man watching this and you're like, I'm kind of nervous to do IVF, fuck off. You don't have to do much. It's really easy. You get to jerk off into a cup.
Yep, that's pretty
You
much
get
it.
to.
Yeah, that's literally pretty much it.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's tough if you love your wife and your partner, which I hope you do. It's tough to watch them go through that because it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like the injections. Anyways, go on.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't have the date of the exact time that we like Zoomed with the doctor.
Doesn't matter.
But I have August 8th, 2023,
Mhm.
which ironically, 1 year later, my due date was August 8th, 2024.
That's crazy.
Yeah, kind of cool. Our meds arrived. So I got a big giant box full of all the medications that I was going to take to basically hyperstimulate my ovaries to make a bunch of eggs so that I could go in for a procedure where they would then remove all the eggs from my from my ovaries. Kind of a daunting thing. I'm an RN, so like I have medical training to do injections and like medicine dosaging and all of that stuff. I couldn't even imagine if you didn't. Like it's so they literally mail it, just shows up on your front doorstep and then they're like, "Okay, watch this YouTube video."
You were also doing my testosterone shots for a long time.
True, yeah.
You were pretty good at doing shots already.
Yeah.
So that was, for us, it was kind of like, we already know what we're doing with this.
Yeah. Still a little daunting though. Like
but there were so many vials.
So many things.
And
like,
different needle sizes. And syringes. And it's like, you're looking at all of it and you're like, okay, is there like a manual?
Yeah, right.
Like, where's the manual?
I couldn't even imagine. Like if you were just, two average Joes trying to figure out how to do all this. So the meds arrive on the 19th of August. I then started all the retrieval meds, and then I was also doing weekly acupuncture. So I was still trying to do kind of both. I really wanted to try to make sure that I had healthy eggs, healthy lining, everything was good while I was, managing with Big Fertility.
We were both very focused on, and we had done that, like we talked about in the last episode, we had dialed in certain aspects of our life, our health, our fitness, and all that stuff to try to be as optimal as possible.
Yes.
Because we're investing money in this. Let's really make sure that we're getting quality.
Yep. And that we're going to make a healthy baby.
That's what I mean. We wanted our bodies to produce quality sperm and eggs.
Yep. So the medications that I were on, like if there's anybody who's in the IVF world, like this means something to you, everybody always asks like, what med protocols were you on and whatever. I was on a very standard like med protocol. I was on Menopur, Cetrotide, and Gonal F. Doesn't really, I'm not gonna, this isn't like a episode on like medicine, but people always ask that question, so I'll share it. So it was all sub-Q injection, so doing it into like the adipose tissue on my abdomen is where I was doing all the injections. I did all of these ones myself for whatever reason. I liked doing my sub-Q injections.
Freak.
You did my IM injections. Leading up to the egg retrieval, it's challenging. Like your ovaries go from, their original size to the size of a grapefruit. So like you are bloated, it hurts, like it does not feel good. And that was, let's see, my egg retrieval is the 31st. So it doesn't seem like a crazy amount of time, but like this is so all consuming every single day that the 19th to the 31st felt like eternity. And you just don't know, like you have no idea if it's going to work correctly. Like, are we even going to get eggs out of this? Am I going to have to do this again? All your medications were like, I mean, just the box of meds were like $1,200 themselves.
When you're like, did I do the medications right?
Right. Yeah. It's scary. Like it feels like it's all in your hands. So on the 26th, I go in for an ultrasound. You get so many ultrasounds. They're all transvaginal. It's really fun. And I had 29 follicles that were all starting to kind of develop. So that was super exciting. Then I went on the 28th and I had 43 follicles, which was wild. It's like, oh my gosh, like that is so many. And I share these numbers because I think it's important to see that like how many follicles you get does not equal embryos, does not equal transfers, does not equal babies. Like IVF math is like girl math. Like it doesn't actually really add up correctly.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
So 8:29, we did the trigger shot. 8:31, we went in, we had the egg retrieval. I remember waking up, I took a video and I sent it to you if you remember. I woke up from the egg retrieval and I just was crying. I just felt so relieved. I was like, oh my gosh, like we did it. Like we're here. This is so cool. It felt like the first like really big step forward after 2 years of just so many steps backwards. This was the day, by the way, that you did your really big contribution. I know it was really hard for you. not enjoyable at all.
Oh,
Yeah. This is the day that Jordan donated his sperm.
it's an emotional day for me.
Okay. And then what's wild is like while I'm recovering from the procedure in the lab, like next door, they were literally taking your sperm and my egg and putting them together in a petri dish.
That's weird.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And that's when Zeppelin was being
Created. Yeah.
which is crazy.
It's a trip.
I know. Okay, so then September 7th, we finally get an embryo count, and we have 8 embryos. So 8 embryos that made it all the way to like the end stage that they want them to get to.
Which was good. That was a big number.
Yeah, that was exciting. 8 felt really, really good. We were happy with 8. Now, this is where these are the things you don't have to think about conceiving the good old-fashioned way. But if you recall, we had to sign all these freaking consent forms going into this. You really have no idea what to expect. We basically had to consent to how many embryos we would want to then be what's called PGT tested, where they go and genetically test your embryos. And it's also where you get the gender, like we were talking about previously.
Right.
I had heard, if I had a PCOS diagnosis, I had heard that you can overstimulate and you could get a ton, and I just wasn't sure how many we were going to get. PGT testing is very expensive. It's an additional fee on to everything else. So we kind of picked like, well, I feel like 6 sounds good. Like,
yeah, after
6 is a good
talking
middle.
to the doctor and getting some information, we decided that if we got 6, we would test all 6.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting to get more than 6, really. It was kind of like that would be like the number, a sweet spot.
A sweet spot. That sounds good.
And again, you're making these decisions before you even know how many you have.
Yeah. Before you even have the information in hand to like.
So at the end of the day, you're kind of like, well, I don't want to go too high because I don't want to spend all this money testing, 10 embryos. But you're also like, I don't want to shoot too low. So unfortunately for us, we,
Well, I don't think that it's unfortunate for us. This is something that was fucked up on the clinic's behalf, in my opinion, because I have documentation in an email chain of communicating with them because like I said, I was reading everything word for word, every single form. Nothing was going to get past me. I emailed them and was like, hey, I just want to make sure if I select 6 right now and then we find out that we get 10, can I then change my mind and say I want to test all 10? They're like, yep, absolutely no problem. And I'm like, perfect. Then we're going to go ahead and put 6 for now and we'll go ahead and sign the consents. Well, we signed the consents and I am just sitting on the edge of my seat, waiting, like literally every minute checking that week or whatever that went by, waiting to see how many embryos we got. And it was like 6:20 p.m. at night or something crazy.
Yep.
I get an email in this little portal being like, hey, guess what? You have 8 embryos. We're sending 6 off for testing. I immediately call you. I'm like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. This is so exciting. But also we need to make this decision right now because they said they're only sending 6. But if we only have 2 more and it's, an additional $500 or whatever it is, like, I think we should test all 8. You're like, yeah, let's test all 8.
Yeah.
I literally hang up. I respond back to them and I get a message back that says, sorry, our office is closed. Like you're outside of office hours. I'm like, what the fuck? So then I call them and I'm calling and nobody will answer. And so I email the person back and nobody answers. And then I don't think I get a response until like randomly at 8 p.m. that night or maybe the next day or something being like, oh, sorry, it's too late.
Yeah. We were like, wait. What about the conversation we had?
Yeah.
Where we were like, hey, if we choose 6 and there's 10.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyways,
just out the window. And almost so strategically planned to like do that, but then not. I don't know, at the time where I couldn't have communications back and forth.
Yeah, there was a couple of frustrations like that. And I don't necessarily think it's because they didn't want our money to test them. I think it was just people do things and they're dumb.
Yeah, I don't know.
And,
but it's one that's really disappointing because they sent 6 to be tested. And so we have 2 that are in storage that are untested.
Right.
And so then, of course, maybe this is where it's at.
Uh-oh.
I feel like this makes sense now that I think of it.
What?
The storage company where you get your embryos tested and where you store them is a separate entity from our fertility clinic. Okay? So when we're paying for PGT testing, it's going to bill. It's going to somebody else. Our fertility clinic doesn't pocket it. Ew, this makes my stomach hurt because I think this is exactly what it is. I think it, off the top of my head, I think it would have been around $500 to $800 more to have the 2 additional embryos tested. Okay.
Mhm.
$800 would have gone
I
to
know
this
where you're going with this.
other
Yeah, yeah,
person.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, then I get in for this. Literally makes me feel so sick. Guys, I'm literally realizing this in real time. Okay. The fertility clinic then sent me an email being like, okay, well, if you do want to test the 2 that were frozen, what you have to do is then we thaw them, we pull the cell for testing, and then you would refreeze them, and then we would send it off to the lab and it would get tested, and we wait for those results, and then if you wanted to use those embryos again, then we would have to thaw them again, and it's this whole process. It would cost around $2,500. But guess who gets the $2,500? Our fertility clinic.
Right.
Because they're the ones that would have to charge us for thawing the embryo and refreezing the embryo.
And there's more risk to thaw the embryo.
Okay, but that's beside the point. I'm saying it's almost this intentional thing where they did that on purpose, because now we have to pay our clinic more money to have those 2 embryos tested.
But wait, I was thinking, and this is where my head was going, along those same lines, but I was thinking that if they tested those and they were genetically deficient, then we're not paying to store those ones. Now we're only paying to store 2 embryos instead of 4.
Okay.
So, or 4 embryos instead of, because we used 2 of them. But anyways, if those 2 were tested, now they're untested, so we don't know if they're viable or not. We have to store those now because it's like that's still a potential hope if we need them. If they would have tested them and they would have been come back, genetically deficient, they would have discarded them in the first place. Because we're paying to store 4 embryos, correct?
Right. But we're not paying the fertility clinic, we're paying the storage people.
Right, but I'm sure they have some sort of deal worked out with the fertility.
That's fair.
So
that's true too.
Both ways.
Yeah.
It's a money thing.
It just doesn't feel good because you're talking about like, this is our literal like babies.
Future babies.
Yeah, this is our family planning and people are playing with it.
Yeah.
Whether they are or they're not, call me conspiracy theorist, but I can't help but feel that like what happened with our embryo testing, something was off there.
For sure.
Something's not right.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's just gross.
It is gross.
And unfortunately, like, I don't know, we share all this because I hope it just helps like, even if IVF is a route that you have to go, I hope you feel more equipped.
Yeah.
Just to like be a little more skeptical and make sure, like, don't be afraid to be annoying. Like, annoy the shit out of these people. Demand answers. Ask every question.
If there's something that you're like signing and you're like, I kind of don't understand this. Like, what if this and this and this? Call them, email them, bug the shit out of them until they give you a straight answer.
Yes, and don't just be blinded.
Because you're paying for it.
You're paying for it.
And
you are.
And if you're not paying for it right now, you will pay for it for not asking the question.
Yeah, dude.
Because we asked all the questions and we still paid for it.
That's kind of what I was thinking that you were going was like, if you had 2 less embryos, then like, is there a chance you could have to, go through another egg retrieval and do all of that too. Yeah.
Again.
Anyway,
the more you know in that industry, the more benefit you have.
Yeah. Okay, so we got our 8 embryos, and then I was put on birth control. I don't know if you remember that.
I do,
but I did 1 cycle of birth control.
Yep, which was crazy.
I asked like 7 questions to her, and I like did a lot of I went back and forth a lot on it. But you know what? My gambling mentality came in because I wasn't willing to wait longer. The fact of having the like birth control allowed us to control the cycle, and I wanted control. I was like, I want this to happen as fast as possible.
Right, because otherwise we were on your body's timeline.
And I knew that I had longer cycles and stuff. I was like, instead of waiting, 25 days, I would have to wait 35 days, and I don't want to.
No.
And it's funny looking back at it. I'm like, what's 10 days gonna like? But in the time frame, it's
every day's an eternity.
Yes, it literally is an eternity. Yeah. Okay, so then on the 19th, I'm still doing a bunch of acupuncture, and I started herbs, a special herbal blend from the acupuncturist, trying to just get my my body and my lining like getting really ready, knowing that we're gonna have an embryo transfer soon.
Right.
And then I was at the airport when I got the email about our embryos. And now anytime we're in that same terminal and we walk past that Starbucks,
Oh yeah.
I always think about when I got the email because it was just like mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
We were feeling on one half kind of excited that we would potentially kind of get this like control of like we could pick to have a boy next, and that's kind of cool because we already have a daughter, and then we would know if we can't have any babies after this, we get a boy and a girl. Like if you feel like you're robbed of so much going through infertility that it felt like this is something that we get to do. It was kind of cool.
It felt nice to be like the controls in our hands.
Yeah, but it also felt really weird, and
gross.
I kind of didn't like it.
So we ended up we were both like, man, we'll get to pick if we can have a girl or a boy. Essentially, obviously there was the option that you could end up with all girls or all boy embryos. We're like, what are the odds of that? Sure enough, turns out I'm a girl dad.
Yeah, meant to be. He's a girl dad.
I'm a girl dad.
We got 4 embryos back, healthy, all girls. And then the other 2, another one was a girl, and she had 3 X chromosomes.
Yep.
Remember? She was like extra girl. And then we had one boy, and he had some genetic problems.
He was a special boy.
He was a special boy.
And special boy.
And he wouldn't have made it.
No, he wouldn't have made it.
Yep.
And then the other 2, we don't know.
Yeah, and the other 2 we don't know.
Because they fucked us.
So we ended up with 4 PGT tested, healthy girl embryos and 2 untested.
And 2 wild cards.
2 wild cards. So then we get into the beginning of September. I started taking esterase orally, and I started estrogen patches. So I started this. Basically, you have medications to try to create a lining,
right?
Because in a normal cycle, like we talked about cycle charting in the last one, you would have to actually create an egg and release the egg, and then when you release the egg, that triggers the corpus luteum, the little sac it leaves behind, to create progesterone helps prime this and maintain this lining, right? You don't have those things happening because you're not ovulating this cycle,
right?
You're skipping the ovulation, and you're going to try to medically induce essentially a lining.
So you need hormonal help.
Yep. So that you can then put that embryo in there. So I started all of that stuff, and I was also taking Fullwell prenatals. I was taking the herbs from the acupuncturist. I was taking liver capsules that I was making at home. And I was eating like super nourishing food. So I was doing all the things that I could to also support like a good lining as well. The cycle was kind of a challenging one because I went in for a lining check. They wanted my lining to be at a 10, and it was only at a 7. And we were supposed to be leaving that night for my dad's memorial service. Not his like funeral memorial, but he was being like recognized by the Sac Metro Fire Department. So we had this whole trip planned that was important to me. I go in and they're like, yeah, your landing's not there. And I was like, well, I'm going out of town. It's important. And they were basically like, well, you could cancel this cycle or you cancel your trip. And I sobbed because I was like, why am I put in this position where I have to pick between my deceased dad and my fertility? Like, why does it always have to be like this?
Yeah. I remember that.
And that's just to share that, like, while you're going through IVF or even just infertility, life continues moving. You don't get to pause everything else.
No.
Like, so you're carrying this on top of everything else,
And you got to work. You have to work around your schedule, your kid's schedule, your work schedule, all this stuff.
We had a 4-year-old, and I have to go into the clinic twice a week for ultrasounds and blood work and all of that. And I was also working at the clinic. Like, it was hard trying to juggle everything.
It was a lot.
It's a huge burden. Okay, so I ended up rescheduling my details of traveling. Like, you ended up flying with Holland there, and I came in a later point. I just missed part of like the stuff.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And I was so nervous because I was like, man, my lining needs to be at a 10. It's only at a 7. I don't know if you remember. I was like Googling everything and doing everything I possibly could to try. I was like meditating it, like trying to make sure that this lining, like I was just envisioning it in my head, like plumping up and everything, because I wanted this cycle to happen so badly. I go in and my lining was at an 8, And I was just like devastated. I was like, they're going to cancel this cycle. Everything that I just did was for nothing. Like, we're going to have to start from scratch. And then while we're in the like hall at the breakfast or whatever it was before the actual like service, I got an email being like, you can go ahead and start progesterone. And I was like, yes,
Yeah.
like we're doing this.
Yeah.
And so then my first IM injection was by my aunt, who is a veterinarian,
Yep.
in the bathroom
At
of
the
a
restaurant.
fancy restaurant.
At the steakhouse.
Yep, with some of the like top people of the fire department.
Yeah.
And I had to like ask them for like ice, and I put it in a napkin. And
It was literally like the California Fire Commissioner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like sitting on a napkin full of ice cubes from my water glass, like trying to ice my butt. And then I have the video. Maybe I'll post it on our socials for receipts, because it's actually pretty funny. But me and my aunt went to a bathroom stall, and we were both like nervous, and did my first IM progesterone injection.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the one after that, oh no, we did a couple in the hotel room, I think, but then we had one while we were flying home.
Yeah.
And there was no family restroom. We had to go
in the dog restroom.
The dog relief restroom. It was
literally like a dog pee pad.
Yep.
In a room.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. We have those receipts too. Maybe I'll share the funny ones.
At the Sacramento airport.
Yep. And that's the hard thing is like, you know, you are on a very regimented protocol. Like you don't get to, oh, you know, I'm going to be at the airport. I'll save my progesterone for later. Everything is very timed and regimented.
You got to do it when it's time.
You got to do it when it's time, and it's hard. Okay. Well, we'll on the 19th of September then was our transfer date. I had this like gut feeling pretty early on that it wasn't going to work, but I couldn't tell if it was just me like feeling, I don't know, like
being repetitively defeated for 2 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
But I also have pretty good intuition.
You do. You have good body intuition.
Yeah, and so, I just felt like this wasn't it. Like it's not gonna happen. I
didn't have that same feeling. I was convinced. I was like, this is gonna work.
Were you?
Yeah, it was because I was like, how can I not feel that way? And I knew because you had always had really good intuition, and typically when you were like, I don't think it's gonna work, or I do, it usually ended up working out.
Yeah.
But because I was like, she's just, you know, probably hoping for the best, expecting the worst. So, but anyways, didn't work.
It didn't work.
Let down. It was a real gut punch after all the, you know, anticipation and shots and all the things. And
I think the scariest part of that, what I was feeling the most after that was like, okay, if this one didn't work, and there's some reason why our sperm and egg just couldn't make it happen in the last 2 years, and now we pulled out the big guns. We unloaded our pockets. We turned them inside out. We gave everything we have to this modern science, and it didn't work.
Right.
What does that mean for the future? Like you literally feel just like the wind is knocked out of your sails.
Well, and we ended up speaking to the doctor afterwards, and he didn't seem too surprised.
Well, yeah.
And he was kind of like, oh yeah, you know, well, we'll go for the next one, and you know, don't get discouraged. And we're like,
see, and part of me is like, if they said they wanted my lining to be at a 10 and then it was an 8, and they were just like, we'll just go ahead and give it a shot.
Yeah.
Like it kind of upsets me because now fast forward, you know, we end up doing another embryo transfer right after.
Right.
You know, we wait until I bleed and all of that, and then we start the meds again. They didn't change really anything at all. In fact, I was actually on slightly less medication this time. My lining was a 10. Right. Was Zeppelin's transfer.
Yep. And we also had a different doctor.
Well, yeah, it wasn't our main doctor who did the first transfer.
Yeah, that was a different, not the head of the clinic.
She was one of the newer, like,
yeah,
not as like,
and we were probably being biased, but also the guy that did the second one was like the guy.
Yeah, it's his clinic.
It's his clinic, and
his clinic's been open.
He's
since
very established
the 80s.
and kind of wrote the book on it. So
yeah,
we felt better. We felt better about it, and sure enough.
But it just makes you wonder, you know, were they just pumping us through another cycle? And like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's this weird thing because they care so much about their statistics. Like that's how I used to think. Like, they want to make sure they have success rates. So they would never go put me in for an embryo transfer if they didn't think that there was a good chance of success, because that would affect their success rates. But then when you learn that, like, they can actually manipulate all of their data and reporting, then I'm like, well,
they
maybe
weren't
they
super strict on the parameters.
Maybe they just didn't include my first transfer in their reporting. Like, it's just crazy.
Or
to
maybe
think about.
maybe because you weren't at the correct lining, maybe then they could be like, well, technically that one doesn't have to go into the books because we did it outside of our parameters.
Right.
When we do it inside of those parameters, then we can keep track of it.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's trippy.
It all just makes you feel a little weird. So her transfer was November, like 20 something. It was pretty close to Thanksgiving. And then we had gone to the Grand Canyon with some friends. And I'm going to sound really woo-woo for a second, but I got pregnant unplanned with Holland. And a few days after, like, what would have been her conception day, like, I all of a sudden felt nauseous for a second, and this really overwhelming, weird feeling, almost like, I know this sounds woo-woo, but like I could literally feel her, like, spirit enter my body. And all of a sudden I was just like, I think I could be pregnant. But it was way earlier. Like, it was weeks before I could have tested and, like, gotten a positive test, but it was such a distinct feeling for me. And I was waiting every single month that we were trying to conceive naturally. I was waiting for that feeling, and I never got it. And we never, like, got pregnant, you know?
Yeah.
And then I didn't feel it with the first embryo transfer, and I was in my head a lot, because I was like, maybe I'm just making this all up, but I swear, like, I'm waiting for that feeling. And we were sitting there around the campfire, and I got a moment of nausea and that weird tingly feeling, and I was like, this embryo transfer worked.
She's there.
Like, I know it. Yeah. It kind of makes me emotional. I just, like, knew it.
Yeah.
And so then we went home, because it started snowing. We went home a day early and immediately took a test, and I will never forget that day. I'm somebody where typically, like, if something shocking or exciting or sad or whatever happens, it takes me a minute until I can, like, react.
Yeah.
I immediately broke down. Like,
Yeah.
I could not believe it.
Yeah.
One of the best days of my life, like, honestly, was seeing that positive test.
Oh my gosh. It was like
top 5 best days of my life.
It was just like a weight had just been lifted, and we were like, we're both flooded with, like, we didn't even believe it at first. We were like, are you sure?
I know.
I mean, and then the follow-up to that was talk about the cost of infertility, the cost of pregnancy tests.
I was just about to say, are we sure? Oh, I made sure that we were sure, because I was taking about 6 pregnancy tests a day for a solid week after.
One of our friends asked, he was like, did you, once you finally got pregnant, like, did you guys take, like, just one pregnancy test, or I was like, we took an uncountable amount.
And then I also kept them on the bathroom counter for like 6 months, because I felt scared that if I threw them away, I would, like, lose the pregnancy. It felt like some weird juju.
You take one, and, like, you know, after you had drunk a bunch of water, like, and we were comparing the lines. You're like, this one looks fainter than the one that I took 2 days ago.
Right.
What's happening? It should be getting more solid. And then we were like, oh no, you're losing her.
I know.
And then we were like, oh no, take another one. And then you take another one and be dark. And we're like, okay, we're good.
Oh yeah, we're okay.
We're good. No, we're good.
Yeah. I don't recommend doing all those things, but like, it was really hard not to.
But we were in a psychotic state, because we couldn't believe it. We were like, we needed more. We needed so much reassurance.
Yes. It was hard.
It was stressful. Yeah.
Okay, well then that, like, wraps up, like, the IVF, but I do just want to touch a teensy bit. We will have episodes in the future, you know, about, like, our birth experience and, like, all the extra things. This isn't the place for it. But I did end up having a subchorionic hematoma. So meaning that there was, like, a pocket of blood between my uterine lining and the placenta.
Yeah.
And so there was a day where I was maybe 6 or 8 weeks, we were trying to recall, I want to say, like, pregnant. I was still, you know, at the IVF clinic. They hold on to you for a while until they kind of release you to go on to your, like, quote, OB. I say that funny because we went to midwives and they kept being like, who's your OB? Who's your doctor? Have you talked to your OB? And I'm like, I don't subscribe to that model of care. Yeah. I'm going to midwives.
They judged us for that.
Oh yeah. Sure. They hated that. Yeah. And I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
But we were at home. Wasn't Kate Was Katie over?
She was.
That's what I thought.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden I like felt a gush and I was like, oh my gosh. And I went to the
I was at
bathroom.
work and I drove straight home.
Oh, that's right. You
Mhm.
weren't there.
Mm-mm.
Yes, Katie had just come over and I felt a gush and I was like, whoa, wait a second. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't like that felt like blood, like a
Yeah.
period almost. I sat on the toilet. It was just bright red blood just gushed into the toilet. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh. I was like shaking. I called
Yeah.
you and I was like, it's over.
That's scary.
It was so terrifying.
Mhm.
Went in, got an ultrasound, got blood work, and like we were totally fine.
Everything was fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
They didn't give me any reasoning. Nothing. They didn't say it was a subchorionic hematoma. They were just like, oh
They're
yeah,
like,
it's
oh, we don't know,
probably
but
normal. Don't know.
everything
Whatever.
looks good. Yeah.
Take more progesterone.
Yeah.
Is what they said.
That's right.
Did that. Okay. Everything's good. Then a few weeks go by, and then you literally get in the car. Katie picks you up to take you to the airport. You get in the car to go to your brother's bachelor party in California. And you drive down the street, and Holland and I wave by, and I'm walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden I feel a gush.
Mhm.
Kid you not.
You called me
I
right then. Yep.
go to the bathroom, I'm bleeding again.
Mhm.
And I called you and I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I'm alone.
Yeah.
Like, and call the clinic. Luckily I could get in that day, went in, got ultrasound, got blood work. Everything was okay. That's when they were like, yeah, it's probably a subchorionic hematoma. They typically resolve whatever. Like, it was so dismissive. So that was like absolutely terrifying. I had a pretty good pregnancy from there forward.
You had to give yourself a progesterone shot by yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had to do them while you were gone.
And you hadn't done one to yourself,
Yeah.
intramuscular.
No.
Yeah.
But I actually found that they weren't too bad. So if you're anybody who's like scared of them,
you got through it.
They're really not as scary as they seem. But yeah, so there were some like, and then I had some postpartum complications that I think we'd probably get into in part 3 more, so that we can wrap up here. But yeah, it's not to say, that fertility is a straight shot. I mean, IVF is what I mean. IVF is not, like a straight shot. It's complicated. And I don't know. There's a lot of challenges. It could be really hard. Yeah. And I do think that it played a role in some of my outcomes of my pregnancy as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's wrap us up. Let's bring it home here. Okay. So on the last episode, we gave you guys kind of some guidance and if you were going through infertility. Now we want to give you just a little bit of guidance on like the things your fertility clinic won't tell you.
Right. So
preconception prep matters. It matters so deeply. You guys will probably get sick and tired of hearing me say that. But it's more than just like getting pregnant quick. But you want to actually ensure that you're going to have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby, right?
Right. And that's regardless of if you're just getting into it, if you're going into IVF.
Yep.
Best case scenario is you and your sperm quality or your egg quality in your body are healthy.
Yep.
And in a place where you're not leaving any stone unturned.
Yes. And we don't want to hear it, but it takes time. Right? Like in the 1 year you're told to just try, you should be prioritizing these things.
Yeah.
So there's a concept of epigenetics, right? Basically, your genes, I just heard, this isn't my analogy, it's good. I'm not going to take credit for it. I just heard it on a podcast the other day. But the concept of epigenetics is that your DNA loads the barrel of the gun, but your like your environment, your diet, your lifestyle will pull the trigger.
Okay.
So concept meaning that like the way that you like take care of yourself, what you eat, what you consume, right, is going to shape the way that your genes present. You can turn things on or off. Okay. That's a really kind of profound concept.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have a good nutrient rich diet, a low toxin environment, like all these things are going to help ensure that your child's genes are going to express like vitality rather than like vulnerability. So your egg and sperm health, IVF cannot improve these things.
Right.
Going to IVF is not going to suddenly give you really great egg quality, and it's not going to give you really great sperm. It's going to bypass those things,
right?
Which sounds great, but it's not going to all of a sudden give you the healthy information that you need to make, a healthy baby.
Right.
We already said this earlier, but egg and sperm health, the like process of making like spermatogenesis, like the process of making sperm, right? And then the process of making eggs, it takes about 90 days for your lifestyle changes to actually impact
Right.
that.
Right.
So it takes time. Your uterine lining, we kind of said this already as well, but like fertility drugs go in and try to help thicken it, but they can't improve the quality or like the vascularity of your
Okay.
lining. Those things matter.
Right.
What can improve those things is having proper mineral balances and electrolyte balances, progesterone sufficiency,
Mm-hmm.
aka meaning you need to be having regular and healthy ovulation prior
Right.
to going into, these fertility procedures, and good like pelvic circulation. So like walking, castor oil packs, acupuncture, your stress and cortisol, working on your circadian rhythm, getting like better sleep quality, having like morning sun
Yep.
and daylight exposure.
Within 30 minutes of waking up, exposure to morning sun, direct sunlight exposure.
Yep.
Grounding.
Your evening like light hygiene.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then
You don't want to be doing any blue light an hour to 2 hours prior to sleep.
and then you're stabilizing your blood sugar,
Mm-hmm.
gentle exercise. Those are great things, not just in the stress and cortisol thing, but like your overall metabolic health. Your blood sugar is like a huge.
Yeah.
If you haven't gone down the blood sugar rabbit hole, go down the blood sugar rabbit hole. It's so impactful for both men and women, especially in the fertility world. Okay, I'm throwing just like quick things at you. Like this isn't to give you like medical advice or whatever, but just to tell you the things that your fertility clinic isn't. Like there are things that you can be doing to improve your overall health. You could end up getting pregnant naturally. This happens all the time.
Yeah.
We weren't one of those
Focusing on that.
couples.
Focusing on that stuff could potentially lead to a pregnancy, which is the nice thing about it. It's like there's no downside to making lifestyle changes that are going to, affect not only your health, but the health of your children.
Yep. There's no downside.
Or future children.
I completely agree.
And it's another thing. If you are a guy that does like the steam or the sauna or a jacuzzi or a hot bath quite often, maybe don't do those as much.
Yeah.
Because what we know is that the testicles need to be outside of the body for a reason. They have to remain cooler, otherwise they'd be inside of your body.
Mm-hmm.
So those things can disrupt sperm production and sperm health.
Yep.
Cold is okay, but you don't want to do excessive cold, like cold plunges and cold baths and that kind of thing. I don't think that's going to have as big of an effect as like heat exposure.
Yeah.
But like a cold shower is probably okay.
But at least be thinking about those things.
Yeah.
And the impact on sperm. Yeah.
I mean, if you're really going to put your body under a microscope, do it.
I agree.
Look into every angle.
And so if you do end up having to go the IVF route, all these things still matter very much in my opinion.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
And are probably going to improve your outcomes too.
Yeah.
Like
you're going to feel better at the very least.
Put the responsibility and the, I don't know, hope of improved outcomes with IVF in your own hands than these big fertility, right? Than like these IVF clinics skewed data, than their like data laundering that they're doing. Yeah. I would so much rather like put my trust into myself and the things that I can control and improve in my own health to improve my chances of,
absolutely
a positive outcome going through fertility treatment. But that's just me.
And it goes back to like what we were saying earlier. They're not going to tell you to not eat fast food. They're not going to tell you to not, be sedentary. They're not going to tell you to work out. They're not going to tell you to do all the things that are going to actually benefit you in the long run.
Because then they're also would be losing a consumer.
Yeah, you might fuck around and find out that you can get pregnant.
Yeah. And that would really bum them out because that's less money in their pockets.
And if you haven't paid for the procedures yet, then they're shit out of luck.
Yep. The last thing I had on here was your mitochondria health. I think that's a really big one, and it's really fascinating. I can nerd out on it, but I won't. But just research supports like for mitochondria support some, not just supplements. A lot of this you can get from food. So sorry, but if you're listening, please don't come at me, but if you're a vegan and you're going through infertility, you should really consider not being a vegan. But that's just me. I said what I said, okay?
If you're a vegan, regardless of what you're doing, don't.
Yeah, don't come at me, but if you're trying to get pregnant, please don't be a vegan. Research shows CoQ10, L-carnitine, your B vitamins, magnesium, and copper, like balance between the two, and like whole food fats. Those are some solid things to help with your mitochondria function. The mitochondria is like the powerhouse of your cell, right? And your ovaries actually have more mitochondria than any other cell in your body.
Wow.
Isn't that kind of cool?
That's very cool.
Yeah, I learned that when I was doing all our like fertility research quite some years ago. And it's still in the old ticker here.
She's retaining.
I'm retaining. And then avoiding.
Retaining not only placenta.
Hey, too soon, honey.
Sorry.
Avoid toxic exposures to seed oils, endocrine disruptors, plastics, alcohol, synthetic fragrance. This is everything we said in episode 1. But that's pretty much everything I have there. I have something like that I kind of wrote out that I want to end us with. Do you have anything on the men's side that you feel like is pertinent, or anything that I left out?
No, I think you covered everything. Okay. I mean, again, it's just back to what we said in the first episode. You're focusing on exercise. You're focusing on, Are
you speaking on men specifically?
Yeah. And I know this is tough for a lot of people, but if you can stop drinking alcohol altogether, I think that would be hugely beneficial. I know that marijuana is also pretty bad for sperm quality and sperm health.
What about vaping?
Vaping's terrible for you regardless, and it's just fucking stupid. Yeah. Like, you look like an idiot. Sorry, but if you vape, I'm sorry, but you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're not a cool person, but you look like an idiot.
I personally think that it's such a stupid thing for men to just be like, well, fertility is mainly like a woman issue, and so like she'll figure it out, and all I have to do is show up and nut. That's bullshit. Because you're bringing 50% of the DNA to the picture. So what you're doing matters.
Yeah.
Like, if your wife can do all of these things through infertility and leading up to it, and then also grow your child and birth your child and sustain it from her body from breastfeeding, you can stop eating fast food for dinner. You can get off your ass and do a workout. You can cut out alcohol.
And stop smoking weed.
Yeah,
that's a real thing too. I've seen recently in some studies that show that smoking marijuana and the effects that it has on your sperm quality and health can also lead to miscarriages in the pregnancy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen that too.
And that's I promise you, not smoking weed is going to be way easier than dealing with a miscarriage.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Man up.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Well, just to wrap it up, I wrote down some kind of thoughts where I'm going to leave us. Okay.
Go for it.
IVF is technology. There's a time and place for it. You and I are living proof of that. Right. But conception is biology. It's different. There used to be a time where you couldn't out technology what is biology. Right. So just because like we have all these things at our hands doesn't necessarily mean that that's the right option or the only option. And like outsourcing your soil and expecting like a good harvest, right, can come at a price.
For sure.
And I think that I don't know, this is one of those spaces, just like everything else that we talk about here on Lone Wolf Podcast. This is one of those spaces where you got to put your thinking cap on. And it's hard because you're beat down and you're tired and you're desperate and you're sad and you're heartbroken. But it's not the place to just like roll over, Keep asking the questions, keep being awake, and stay tuned for part 3. Stay awake, baby.
Stay awake.
If you feel at home here, leaving a 5-star review helps other families find their way too.
Come hang out with us on socials at Lone Wolf Podcast, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next.
Remember, sometimes you have to stray from the pack to discover where you truly belong. Until next time, loners.